So do you know what this show is? Pretty much.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
You
watched the
do?
first episode with you and Brian, where he said he got chemo.
Well, he did get chemo. Did you see him?
When?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. See, I knew you were full of bullshit. Oh my god.
No, it's just about like 30 minutes of bullshitting,
Uh-huh.
hanging out,
Yes.
talking, and then
30 minutes of trash Batman.
and then talking
Batman.
about the Batman in question.
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait to discuss this disgusting quote unquote hero.
Indeed.
Na 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 not a hero.
No, if anything, it would be na 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 fascist.
Oligarch.
That's better. That's more appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
that's more appropriate.
Hello everyone. Oh, am I good? Yep. Okay. Hello everyone.
I thought you were Julius.
Yeah, I lied. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Hello everyone. My name is Julius, and I'm here once again with a podcast on this new channel called Bumbling Cinema, where we talk about different films bi-weekly with different guests who I've worked with in the past. Now, this person I've brought up a couple of times on the show.
Yes.
And I've been very excited to talk to this person once
You're
again.
welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I'm humbled by your presence.
As you should be.
You're like one of the Doctor Who's who was like, he showed up to a gathering and he didn't have a gift, so he's like, I give you breath from my lungs.
You know, when Brian was having his Thanksgiving dinner, he may ask me what I was gonna take, and I said my presence should be in.
He invited me, right? It should be fine.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, just so you know, for the listener and Sebastian,
Yes.
we are recording this in an unusual way. We're using our lav mics, our Comica brand, because...
Oh, is this video sponsored?
Not at all, because the first type of microphone I bought from Comica did not work.
Oh.
So I had to send it back, and then I got the Pro, where you...
For free? Like they
No,
sent
no,
you an
no,
upgrade?
of course
So
not,
the
for
first
fuck.
one didn't work and you gave them more money.
No, I got a refund.
And then you gave them more money.
Then, yeah.
Oh, Julius.
But they work, man. They've been working. I've been using them for the short film we've been
See,
working
if
on.
Batman was here, he would clap for you. He would say yes.
If Batman were here, these wouldn't say Comica. They'd say Wayne on them, man.
That, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Here, let me take off this earphone because I'm hearing myself and I feel like I sound like I'm in slow motion right now. But the levels are good, so we're trying it out this new way. And yeah, I'm happy to have you on, Sebastian, because we've done some of my favorite podcasts I've done in the recent time that I've been doing them are with you.
Aw, shucks.
Because you're such a character.
Okay, I don't know how to take that.
And I like kind of being a little casual right now, and you know, all we're missing is some drinks and some cigars, some smoking jackets and stuff.
Okay, cigars are disgusting though.
Oh well, I know.
I know you do.
It fits the motif.
But yes. Maybe
Yeah.
some prop cigars.
Oh, some prop cigars, some fake cigarettes.
Some candy cigarettes.
Have you? Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you had them?
Yeah.
I was about to call them prop cigarettes. No, the candy cigarettes. They're just sugary. They don't have like a specific taste to them, do
It's
they?
just sugar.
It's just fucking sugar, huh?
Addictive as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A new type of... What would be worse, a sugar addiction or a tobacco addiction? I feel like a sugar one, right?
Well, okay, so in terms of strength, sugar is a lot stronger than tobacco.
Yeah.
I don't think sugar gives you the same withdrawals that tobacco does when you're trying to end it, though. But both are pretty lethal. Like sugar, before you realize it, you have diabetes and a ton of other health problems.
Yeah.
And with tobacco, before you realize it, you have cancer.
Right. So it's just wrong.
It's just,
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
It's just bad, man.
Well, the great thing is, I'm ignoring that. The great thing about this having you on is that you've been in a couple of things that I've done.
Yes.
Some very prominent roles in some things I've done. And most recently, you had a little appearance at the end of the podcast.
Which?
Hello.
You know, we're gonna save that for the next episode, if we even make it to another episode. We're gonna wrap it up on this one.
Yeah. About time.
What?
Dude, I'm tired.
Hey, I hate this podcast.
Well, what are you tired of? Are you tired of the podcast?
Where we saw you at the end, shot in black and white. It's a very iconic scene, I think. And, I don't know if I told you this, but after we watched the film, we had a premiere and everything.
Yeah, I was unfortunately not able to make that one.
It's okay. I understand. You got a big contract for Disney, and you were filming your next travel show.
Yeah, they actually gave me a trailer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you want from me? I got you a car for the scene. In the scene, you were in a vehicle. So what's your problem?
I can't believe I didn't think of it that way.
You should have thought it that way. Honestly, I don't blame you for not thinking about it that way, because that day was very hot when we were shooting. Unbelievably scorching.
Yes.
But you showed up, and we filmed it. And when you showed up in the film, everyone was very excited to see you at the very end, because it was like the nice little cherry on top. My mom said that your performance specifically was pretty, not unique, not that word, but pretty standout, because she got exactly who you were as a character.
Okay.
Based on what you did in there.
Sure.
And so what's your experience? I'm gonna regret asking this, but your experience acting.
Well, no. Acting what?
What do you mean?
Just
what?
in general? I thought just in general?
Yeah. Performing, all that stuff.
Do you want a serious answer or a bullshit answer?
I went to Laksa. I
Yes.
am elevated.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I like acting. And it's fun. And I like it when I can get into it. And it's now it's just more of a hobby. It's nice I get to do it with you. It's nice that you give me the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
I have been thinking about going to casting calls once again, because now that it's not my priority, I guess, it just feels like it would be more freeing. I'm not sure
yeah, like a lot of your time is limited.
Yeah.
And doing that would be a nice.
Yeah.
Would it be a hobby then?
No. As in like. I feel like when I was finalizing high school and still considering acting, I was doing casting calls, and getting a call meant everything. Whereas if I were to do it now, because I'm focused in other fields, it would be more like fun. If I get it, cool. If I don't, it doesn't. It could not affect me any. Like, it just could not affect me.
If you get it, amazing.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't, there's me.
There's you. But I've enjoyed acting and I got to do voice acting for Lightspeed. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I got to explore that.
You were the father of Miles. You were Miles' daddy.
When you put it that way.
Son, you are Star Wars. I am Star Wars.
Mr. Locus, you are struggling and afraid. Your guilt has forced you to run. There is no escaping me.
But yeah, that's I guess my experience.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things we've done together is, I love all the things we've done, and it's very limited actually, but the one we made for Mackenzie, Dear Mick Mick, that one with where it's you and Brian, talking about, you knew Mackenzie all this time, but you lied to her about it and everything.
Right.
That's not only like your performance comes out really strongly in that, as does Brian's. But like a lot of I think the biggest key to that one, which was the biggest challenge, I think, for both of us, in terms of writing, directing, and for you acting, is since it was still photography,
Yeah.
you had to get a lot of the physicality down.
Yeah. It was like theater.
Yeah.
It was like theater all over again.
Yeah.
I hate you for it.
Well, I thought it came out pretty pretty good. Like there's some frames there that when I watch it. I'm like,
Yeah, that you've used for inspiration for other art projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is this a bit or?
No, I'm telling you that I knew her back in high school.
But you didn't.
That's what I went with.
She knows you didn't know her.
No, she thinks I didn't.
Because you confirmed with her back when I brought all of us together that you didn't.
I did.
Then what the hell are you talking about? You lied?
No, I joked. Then it turned into a lie.
I haven't seen you in a while. It's been a while since we've really seen each other.
Yeah.
Also.
And I've seen Brian even
Less?
Even less.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
A busy life.
But I mean, you're an environmental guy, right? You're working on getting your degree for environmental engineering.
Yes.
So you think you're better than most
I
other
don't
people.
think I'm better. I know it. I'm kidding.
Don't
I'm kidding.
pretend we are even on the same level.
No.
Do you want to save the environment? Do you?
In
You want
this
to
way,
talk about Batman?
Maybe I'm not better than everyone, but I am better than Batman.
I am better than you. Not everyone, but you.
Well,
But that's the field that you've, leapt into,
Yes.
rather than the arts.
yeah.
Because you went to a school that was about.
I went to
performing
Loxa.
arts.
you know,
Loxa.
if you didn't know, I went to Loxa. You know,
Right.
people from like even England came to move to
Yeah.
LA just to go to the school. In fact, you met such a person. His name was Casey.
Oh, we're just just name dropping. All right, all
We're
right.
name dropping. Do you know who else was in my class?
Who?
Do you know Bill Macy? Do you know Bill Macy?
No.
The actor?
William H. Macy.
Yeah, William. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. We called him Bill because his daughter was in my class actually, and we went to his house and everything and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing.
That's how I went to Loxa.
He seems like such a nice guy.
He actually is. He actually offered to teach us a course, and he gave us he wrote a book about acting. As all actors do, they think they got the key to acting, so they write a book, and then he donated the book to every single one of my classmates, and he gave us a lesson in act. And some of the genuinely, some of the bigger takeaways I had in acting were from that class.
Yeah.
In the sense of character work and stuff.
It's funny you say that because William H. Macy is one of my favorite actors,
Oh.
and I just imagine you in that scene at the end of Boogie Nights.
I have not seen Boogie Nights.
Well,
I actually haven't seen. I didn't know Bill Macy existed until he came to my school. And then I've never seen any. I've never seen anything with him.
You've never seen Wild Hogs?
Nope.
Well, hey,
I know he's in Shameless, and I have not watched Shameless.
Well, Mackenzie was in Shameless.
Shut up! Really?
Yeah, but they cut her scene, I think. So,
Oh, fuck.
she was kind of in Shameless. It was shameless of them to cut her. But no, here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna. Now that I know that you have this connection to William H. Macy,
Yeah,
I
for
see
sure,
you.
connection.
I see you in his role
Uh-huh.
in Wild Hogs.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like you mixed with Miles as a character.
Oh God.
And all right, so
What's
we're
your
gonna
obsession with me?
we're gonna insert the clip here.
I think I have to research alternative specs.
Searching alternative sex. 2 million websites found.
What? No, I didn't say that.
Want Granny to take her teeth out?
Barnyard Love.
Shut down.
That was a pretty good clip.
Oh, so when people are watching this on YouTube, the clip is gonna appear here.
It's show business, Sebastian.
Gotcha.
Welcome to the planet Earth. I thought you went to Loxa. You don't know about Post?
I
am sorry. Love me. Love me.
I wish you had talked to me about your new channel. Because
what, like asked for your blessing?
Yes, and also for advice on the name, because the name of your channel now is
Bumbling Cinema.
Bumbling Cinema.
Yeah.
If you had called it Bustling Cinema, you could have abbreviated it to Bussin' Cinema.
Bussin' Cinema. Well, I feel like
it's bussin'.
But it's bussin'.
You know what that means, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now
you can delete and start over.
I'll definitely change that. Big announcement. Rebranding. Bussin' Cinema. That's some Brian shit.
That's some Brian.
Come on.
Calling it Bussin' Cinema?
Bussin' Cinema. He's talking about wings like that, with that phraseology. But the wings were bussin'. The goth honeys were bussin'.
I haven't had some bussin' wings in a while.
I gotta make you some, because I learned how to make some cauliflower wings in my air fryer. And I made some for Andrew when he was here. He did the video we did a podcast about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That night he had my wings. So now I'm thinking, if I'm gonna do this bi-weekly, I probably have to have some wings.
Oh. I'll come even when I'm not invited.
Bring me the wings.
But I just stand in the corner and eat them. Yes? No? I'm okay eating cauliflower wings.
That's a good point you said.
If it weren't for chicken, tuna, and salmon, I would be vegetarian.
See, it's funny. I heard you in the other room just now before we watched the movie, where my mom was like, "Do you eat meat?" It's like, I eat chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's meat.
Sure.
So why can't you just answer the question?
Because if I say I eat meat, then people just think it's like all the meat, like pork, pig, like turkey, cow, shrimp. I don't eat any of that.
You could say, I don't eat meat, but I do eat chicken. I don't eat all meat, but I eat chicken.
Or I can just say I ate chicken.
But see, when you just say I eat chicken, in the way you said it,
okay.
I'm pretty much licking your lips, just thinking about a bucket of fried chicken. Like it becomes a little privileged. And
oh my God!
I was expecting.
Did it really?
No.
Okay.
Can I go with the bit, please?
Sure, go.
So
I'll let you be funny.
Let me be funny, man. Shit. I was expecting to hear, as I was preparing in here, hear. Bucket of KFC, please.
I almost did.
Well, I'm surprised you had that restraint.
I almost snapped my fingers at you and expected you to run to the store and give me a bucket of fried chicken.
Well, see, it's funny because we were offering you a lot, like, some ginger ale, some water, and I'm surprised you didn't take that opportunity to be like, it is time for my drink of the evening.
Hurry up. I felt bad about you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I took a little pity on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's actually very nice. I really appreciate that after this week. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. No, to have some pity.
Okay.
In a world.
Shitty customers?
Oh, God. I don't even want to.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if I should talk about it.
Damn.
But I will say, it's funny we're talking about this film and we're talking about kind of politics in this episode.
Yes.
But
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I wish I was Batman so I could escape everything. But I was racially profiled this week.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
I'm not going to get too much into
okay,
it. But
sure.
it was
oh, my God.
It was a little nuts. I'll tell you off mic.
Yeah, please.
Because it was a little nuts. But, I wish I was Batman. If I had a mask on, at least, you wouldn't know if I was Mexican or not. Cops would still be after me.
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm Hispanic, so I guess I get a pass.
Yeah.
El Zorro wears a mask. He still doesn't. The police would still profile him.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's the thing about Halloween. Kind of a non sequitur, but masked heroes are the best to be.
Interesting.
To have a mask, a Zorro costume and everything, and you look good in it, it's the perfect one.
I suppose, yeah.
There's some nice mystery. There's the implication of danger and adventure. You know what I mean? If you want to attract the female counterpart, and the sexy nurse, the goth bitches, as Brian would put it.
As Brian would put it.
Not what I would say.
Right, definitely not what you just said.
Not
you
what I
have
just
to
said.
Distinguish yourself, right?
Was that me or was that me?
It was Brian Curiel.
Masks are the way to go.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
even a Batman costume would work.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone loves their billionaire who beats up homeless people in spandex.
But see, even Zorro was a bit like rich.
You're not. Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't billionaire, but he was relative to the
He
time.
was pretty wealthy.
He was wealthy. Had a cave and everything. You know what's funny about that is that Zorro is the inspiration for Batman. Not only real life, but in the canon, the movie that they're watching after, you know, and they leave and the parents get killed. In the books is Zorro.
They're not watching a movie; it's always an opera.
No. In the book, in this movie that we're going to talk about, it was an opera. But
Most
in the
movies, though. Most.
No.
Really?
No. This
it's
one,
usually a movie.
Yeah. No. In the movies, it's usually Zorro that they're watching. In the comics, it's Zorro the Gay Blade.
And then why did Bruce run scare?
They don't. It was a fun night. It was a night.
And they're leaving
they're leaving. They decide
on
to
the
go
back door on the alleyway.
Yeah. No, they just leave. They leave the theater.
Ah.
And this they did it smart here, where it's like, you know, the opera, it's too much for him. The bats and everything scared. They go out the poor exit and everything, and then, you know, what happens. But Zorro is the inspiration for Batman in many ways.
Interesting.
Know? So it always comes down to us, you know. Again, appropriation.
Definitely.
God damn it! Look, the fucking computers are starting.
I know. I noticed.
It's while we're doing it.
Starting for 10 minutes
now. Here's 10 minutes. Is that what it says?
It says we've been recording for 22 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I was about to say, if it just said 10 minutes on your mic and it said 23 on mine, I was gonna be like, what? No.
I actually stopped recording midway through.
Motherfucker.
I think I hit the pause button.
Did you really?
No.
Jesus Christ. I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore. I can't keep getting away with this. You're a bastard. So one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, nothing too much, but we've been talking about
and I think that would be just the right amount.
Limit your speaking in my presence. We have written something that would be an accompanying piece to the podcast.
Yes.
That is another short film that I want to work on soon and get done. Soon. We're currently doing Golden Hour and we're doing the shooting for it. We did some shooting last night that went really well. But I want to talk a little bit about this project we're doing that would be set in the same world and everything. And it's about your character who had a little appearance at the end of the podcast. And we get to learn a little bit about him. Obviously, it's a prequel to, you know, because especially with what's implied at the end of the podcast and everything.
Right.
But, I want to talk a little bit about it because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of voice work again because I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it is a voice-oriented
Yeah, I've
piece.
already started my vocal exercise. Like,
oh, have you? Is that what I was hearing tonight?
That's what you were hearing.
Batman.
I'm Batman.
Is that too high? Should they go lower?
That's exactly what it was. This is why I keep coming back to work with you. It's your genius. It's your artistic genius.
See, I can't help it. But it's called The Shutter Angle. It's a really cool one, and it's going to have you in it. Miles is going to be in it. Ben's going to be in it.
Yes.
And it's going to be fun. We're going to do it soon, hopefully. And I want to talk a little bit about it. Nothing too much, but what do you think? What were your thoughts when I kind of told you about this idea? I said, hey, I got an idea about a character piece that's about you. It's kind of a black comedy. It's not a horror film or anything.
Mm-hmm.
What were you thinking?
I thought, cool. I get to work. Like I get to do another one of these. This is pretty cool.
And it's all about you.
And it does star me, so you know, of course, it's gonna be a masterpiece.
Yeah, right.
Simply because I'm gonna be part like the star.
I am in it.
I am in it. You're welcome.
Get the Oscar ready.
No, I think my initial thoughts were, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has the star quality
Uh-huh.
of the potential star quality because of this?
Yes.
Has it set in your mind that, hey, now I'm the star. It's my way or the highway.
Well, no, because I've always been the star.
I see. Even in the podcast.
Even before I was born. I've always been the star.
There was a prophecy.
There was a prophecy. Actually, the three mage kings went to Jesus.
Yeah.
They got it wrong.
Yeah.
It was really me.
They were looking for you.
They were looking for
but
me.
they were too early.
They were a little too early, unfortunately.
Wow.
And like in the other side of the world or whatever.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I know.
That you were just comparing yourself to a messiah. That's interesting.
What can I tell you? I'm not comparing myself. I'm simply correcting history.
Wow. We should have...
Brian would love to whitewash history, so I gotta do my best.
Now I know what the movie will be that I bring you and Brian in to talk about.
Life of Brian?
Life of Brian.
I love that film so much.
It's all clicking.
It is. Yeah.
It's all clicking.
I think we've talked about it before.
Well, now not like this. This is going to be a kick-ass podcast.
Oh, it's going to be great.
I mean, come on, it's going to be great. That's what we've been saying on this, shooting Golden Hour.
Mm-hmm.
Is this? Actually, and I've been saying to each other, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. There's this infamous clip now.
From like what you've shot?
Well, from the documentary of the making of the Phantom Menace. The Star Wars Episode 1,
okay,
where it's Lucas and Spielberg, and Lucas is showing him a model of the battle droid, like
a sketch.
No, like a model, of it, a life-size thing,
Damn.
a statue. And Spielberg, Lucas is like walking up to him, and he's like, "This is the new Stormtrooper. It's gonna be great." and Spielberg's looking at it, and he breaks a piece off. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that."
Oh my god!
And then Lucas is just like, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it." And he like puts it on the floor or something.
Oh my god!
And they're both like, "It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great."
And we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great.
Misa not a racial stereotype. Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my god! Yeah. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. That's how I feel about all these projects.
Okay.
Whether it be,
and they turn out great.
And they turn out great.
Yeah.
As good or just under the Phantom Menace.
Yes.
You agreed with that? What kind of friend are you?
Look. Jar Jar really.
Insert Jar Jar here.
Jar Jar really brings the whole thing together, and if you don't have Jar Jar, then you'll never be as good as the Phantom Menace.
Hey, listen, Jar Jar's the key to all this.
He was the one pulling the strings all along.
That's what I say about you. Sebastian's the key to all this. Because he's a funnier character than we've had in any of those movies.
Oh, shucks. I'm glad to be your clown.
Oh, it's gonna be... What am I, a clown? Do I amuse you?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
My fellow Americans, here we are on a beautiful Sunday morning, filled with joy, love, untaxable income, and prayer. And believe it or not, even though I'm a rich guy, maybe one of the richest in the world, I've a wish that would fill a little hole that I have in my soul. I'm calling on all you proud boys and girls to subscribe to the Bumbling Cinema channel on YouTube and follow on Instagram. Here, you can find all sorts of great original films, not produced by the greedy left, podcasts hosted by director and writer Julius something or other. It's Spanish, folks. It's Spanish. Let me tell you about this guy. He's got a huge future ahead of him. He's one of the few Mexicans in this great nation of ours, not scrubbing out of toilets. And if you needed any more incentive to subscribe, I can personally promise you that I'll be financially backing Jera Milquetoast's next feature films. We're gonna bring the theaters back with the biggest franchise cinema's ever heard of, the TCU. Gonna shake things up with our new films, the podcast that I don't listen to, Golden Shower, and Only Losers Cry in Their Mugshot. Get ready, folks, and listen to your President of the United States of America. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. We're gonna make cinema great again.
Okay, well, let's talk about the film in question.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. No, 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 no. We're here to talk about the interesting thing I think about this episode is that you don't really like Batman as a character. Now before I ask you more about that, is that a joke? Or is that real? Like, you really don't care about Batman? It's like you don't like him, or is it just it's just billionaires you don't like?
Like, from a character, like, cool. Like, I guess it's a cool concept. But then you really start to like deconstruct him and other characters, like for example Tony Stark. And it's just like,
let me point my Batman Begins action figure towards you.
Oh wow, that is terrifying.
He's looking right at
into
your soul.
But no, I've just never been a big fan of like superheroes.
Right.
Like, I've always thought they were like good movies, especially Marvel movies. DC struggles to make movies good. But yeah, I've more been like high fantasy in terms of like the nerd side of me, I guess, the geek side of me. It never was like superheroes.
It was more like D&D,
Lord of the Rings,
and
right?
In that regard,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
In terms of escapism,
yes,
right?
Yes.
No, and see, I get that, and the fact that these are a lot of superheroes. I was talking to a friend about this the other day, but a lot of superheroes, especially during the golden age, as it's called, of comic books, a lot of them were like oligarchs who were, millionaires, billionaires,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of them were people who could afford to do this type of thing,
right.
like taking the law into their own hands and dispersing their own version of justice, Batman was a very specific one at the beginning because Batman was written as this character that was, a vigilante, and his original comics are very dark. He even carries a gun, at the beginning, and he's indiscriminate about
killed people?
About killing people. That the whole non-killing thing was something
That's
that came
Interesting.
Later, which I think is one of the best parts of the character. But so Batman obviously is a very big part of. I think it kind of ascends pop culture. I think it just has become a part of culture.
Batman himself?
Yeah, like
sure.
the character, the idea of Batman.
Well, the idea being what?
Well, what's interesting about the film we're talking about tonight, which we just watched right now, Batman Begins, directed by Christopher Nolan, is while watching this film with you specifically, I realized how inherently political this character can be.
Oh, of course.
And like I've always watched this movie with the comic book side, more. That's what I've always been more invested in, because I think this is one of my favorite comic book films of all time. This is one of my favorite Batman films of all time. I think it's.
It was well made. It was well made.
It's very It's and to think it came out in 2005.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's pretty amazing.
It's good. Like in terms of like film cinematography, yeah, it's good.
Tell us, Mr. Wayne. What do you fear?
Exactly. But now with this, watching it with you and knowing we're going to talk about, the political aspect, it kind of hit me differently about how overtly political Batman is.
Well, and it's not just Batman, right? It's literally, well, you can't escape politics.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people say, well, could you leave politics out of my herder? But you can't escape politics. And even like looking and analyzing, deconstructing, as it were, characters like the Jedis, right? There's a certain, what's the word? Not, oh God, of course, English is escaping me right now. But there's a certain hypocrisy in terms of them being the protectors of the galaxy, the guardians of the galaxy, right? And then below them is just slums and poverty and crime and all that. And this is something that actually kind of gets somewhat criticized in the film, that they become more or less soldiers.
Yeah, especially during times of war.
But it's
like officers more like.
It's the same thing. Like you always think of like, the films try to like paint these heroes in this like really cool light, but then you actually like start to nitpick at all the social problems happening within the film that are not the main plot, and you start realizing, well, this is, they're far from actual like real heroes.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about just the film itself,
right,
and what this film is trying to accomplish, because we had a whole decade of Batman films that came out before this, and then there was a huge hiatus because because we had Batman, from 1989, directed by Tim Burton, where, Michael Keaton was Batman. It was very dark, and then Batman Returns, which was even darker, that came out. Batman Forever was a little more campy. That was the one with Val Kilmer. Jim Carrey was the Riddler. Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face. And then we had Batman and Robin, which is...
I hear it's the worst Batman film ever.
It still holds that spot. It's the one with George Clooney, with Chris O'Donnell as Robin, with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. It's like if you drink, like this is a movie to watch, but don't do a shot game or anything like that. You know what I mean? Don't take shots every time there's a nice pun, because you'll die. You will die. Chill out, bad boy. No. So that Batman and Robin killed the franchise. It was a toy commercial, pretty much. So no one knew what to do with the character for a long time. I mean, there were all sorts of scripts being shopped around. There was a Batman and Superman movie was pitched.
Oh, really?
Way back early 2000s, and it was awful. The concept of it. It's like. Mr. Sunday Movies did a great video years ago explaining the plot of it.
So then Clark comes down. He tries to talk out of. He's like, "Listen, I'm going to find whoever did this. I'm going to kill them." And so Clark's like, "Don't do it, man. Be cool. Yeah. Be like me, Superman, who never kills. Be like me, right?" But Bruce is like, "You're an alien. You don't understand. You're not like me, man. Get the fuck out."
But then, I forget the filmmaker's name, but he was the director of The Fighter with Christian Bale. And he had an idea for a Batman movie called Batman Year One, which was a much darker, harder-edged version of it. And then we got Christopher Nolan coming in and his take on Batman. And that's what Batman Begins is, which is to reestablish not only the character's history and his origin, but to show how dark it is, for one, and how realistic it can be, and how seriously it can be taken. So when watching it, how do you think this worked as an origin story? Because you brought up some other films while we were watching it. You brought up the Spider-Man films and everything. How do you think this measured up as an origin story for Batman?
I think the only thing I was not very satisfied with is that the film basically opens up with Bruce Wayne being already quite old. But I think that's fine. I think actually, in terms of if we're strictly talking about an origin story, it's good. Yeah, it was good.
Like you get where he's coming from. Everything.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I just watched it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think when you say, like, do I justify his, like, where he's coming from? Is that what you're asking, or?
Do you get where he's obviously motivated by, he's dealing with justice versus vengeance in this film.
Sure.
Right? And like he's dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of fear. One of the most integral themes of the film is fear. So did you get that? How did you feel about that?
Well,
were you scared?
At least the fear that Bruce Wayne goes over is not really it doesn't go beyond bats, right?
Right.
And it gets, like, quote unquote fixed at the beginning of the movie, when his whole Raj Al Ghul's training is over. So, I mean, that was kind of unsatisfying. But yeah, it was, like, pretty on the nose that they were trying to make fear a very, like, central, like, a motive, a very central motive to the story. But in terms of as a character, I didn't buy it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about us watching it is that when it came to, like, a lot of the action scenes, a lot of the scenes where Batman is, like, fighting people and everything, every once in a while I would hear from the corner of my ear you saying something about either the public the disordinance, the city damage and everything.
Yes.
I would hear, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I think that's my favorite thing now, and I think I'll just start saying it when I'm around you, just, like, randomly. I'm Batman.
Are you gonna say it to your girlfriend?
Maybe.
Yeah, you're gonna see how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, because the chicks like Batman.
Yeah, oh sure, yeah. Who doesn't like a billionaire who dresses in spandex and beating homeless people?
I don't think he punched one homeless person in this
but
film.
it upsets everyone who likes Batman so much. I absolutely love it.
Have you done that? Have you done some trolling to Batman fans?
I have a
aside
friend,
from me.
I have a friend who loves superheroes. I think you would get along with him just in terms of, like, how much he loves superheroes.
Yeah.
And I just like to every once in a while remind him that Batman is a billionaire who dresses in spandex and likes to beat up poor people. And you're just like over it by now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's a joy. It's a joy.
It was joyous during the screening to hear, look, here he is again, being rich, taking up space,
wasting oxygen.
When his money could go to better programs.
Oh, yes?
Such as the Sebastian Fund.
It goes towards me having fun. But yes, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, someone has to fund the Messiah's.
The Messiah's return. That's why it didn't really work out for Jesus.
For Jesus, he didn't have a billionaire to back him.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have good backers, good investors. It was just a bunch of other poor people and criminals. You know what I mean?
You know, maybe Batman had been around there to beat the poor people up.
I think Jesus was Batman for them in many ways.
Yeah?
Because he was empowering them, you know?
Sure.
There's actually a lot of, like, that kind of imagery in this film.
Jesus
at points.
imagery? Or, like, hope? Giving people hope?
I would say probably more so hope. But I remember, like, there's that moment where they have the crime lord Falcone, and he's chained up on the signal. And
it's
everything.
a cross.
It's very much like it's obviously they're trying to do the bat signal,
right?
But it comes off as, you know, this is the sacrifice and everything. You know, this is what you fucking get.
But then, what does that mean? The gangster is Jesus?
Well, no, because I mean,
because he's the one that's crucified.
Well, I mean, he wasn't the only one crucified. Jesus.
Sure.
He wasn't.
But then Batman wasn't crucified. I get that you're trying. You're reaching.
I'm not reaching.
I understand.
It was a form of capital punishment.
Sure.
All sorts of people were being crucified back then.
Okay.
Do I need to call Brian?
I just don't understand.
Here's the lesson.
I just don't understand why.
I'm just saying it's
how
that
that's
type
like
of imagery.
What like that? How that imagery relates Batman to Jesus?
Because he's the hero.
Jesus wasn't going around like putting people in crucifixes. I'll shit on
He'd be
Jesus
cooler if he did.
He'd be cooler if he did.
He'd take all sorts of Roman soldiers.
I'm down to shit on Jesus any day of the week.
Why would you shit on Jesus?
I would prefer
what
to.
What did he do?
I enjoy more shitting on Batman.
What did Jesus or Batman do that was so wrong?
Well, I'll tell you what. Jesus didn't charge the poor for healing them. And then Batman goes around beating up the poor people.
What do you think? Does Batman leave like a fucking bill?
Didn't you see him?
I beat you up.
when he gave the coat to the homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave him money.
So what? He didn't beat him up. He just gave him a coat. He paid him.
Look, I was just trying to make it funny. Okay,
oh,
let me be funny. Let me be funny. Let me be funny. I was just like you were reaching. I was reaching.
See, I don't think I was reaching.
You don't think you were reaching?
No, because I think now I understand you now. Because you are Batman's greatest villain here. All right, you are the new Joker.
Oh, what an honor!
Let me be funny, because I am the Joker.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Me. I am the joke.
a knock with the hard R. A knock joke doesn't really work if you don't let them respond. You just kick down the door and shit.
Well, that's what Joker would do. That's what Joker would do.
No, he would. I don't know what Joker would do. I don't want to know what the Joker would do. That's a red flag if I've ever heard one. But anyway,
some people say Jesus is like the Joker,
a disruptor. He was considered an anarchist.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe not that exact term, but you know.
He was definitely doing something we would call anarchy. Yeah.
Shaking things up.
Oh yeah.
As it were.
Yeah.
He just wanted to see the world not burn,
mm-hmm.
which was rare.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because everyone was fucking suffering back then.
No, man, it was fucking crazy.
It's awesome.
Sure.
We'll talk more about it in Life of Brian.
Oh my God, can't we?
But here's the thing. I do really love this film, Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
I love, not only because of the superhero aspect of it, but because it follows a template to make Batman not only really interesting as a character, even if you don't like him or whatever. I find him to be very empowering in this film. One of my favorite things, a scene that I always think of is the very end, speaking of the Joker, where they have the little tease with the card and stuff.
Yes.
And Gordon looks at him and says, that he never thanked him. And Batman looks back and says, I'm Batman. That's all he says in the film. No, he looks back and he says, you're never going to have to thank me. You know what I mean? I feel like that's quintessentially what the character is. And they really get what the essence of this character should be. And the reason I wanted to talk about this rather than a movie, I know you really like Joker, which is ironically your favorite Batman
movie. Yes.
I feel like this has a good balance of the corruption we see in Gotham, like setting up how awful it is at that city, but also Batman's mission statement in many ways. Like seeing where he comes from, why he's doing what he's doing, and what he's up against.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, that's a fair point. It's in terms of his mission statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you. Yeah.
No, I just said
that's a fair point. Yeah, I guess I would have liked to see a little more. When you said mission statement, it took me back to what you asked me originally about the whole idea of for Batman to like as a creation arc, right? Like as the and something that I realized that the movie didn't touch on much was the whole vengeance versus justice theme.
Yeah.
The only time it was never really, even though that's supposed to be the big Batman thing, I just realized the movie actually doesn't touch it.
Yeah.
Because the whole time Batman is, at least past the beginning, he's wants vengeance when he's younger, right? And
yeah,
he's gonna shoot the killer.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't, and then he gets himself, like, he becomes a criminal for cathartic reasons. He had the money to bail himself out at any point. And then he gets trained by Raj Al Ghul, and then he is about to kill a farmer, and he's like, no, this isn't okay. But we never really see him struggle with that concept between vengeance and justice. We just see him at some point, that it doesn't even, like, it's not even shown. At some point, Batman or Bruce Wayne does a 180, and he says, no, I'm not gonna
this
have
is
revenge.
wrong, right? Yeah, I'm not an executioner,
right?
Is what he specifically says, and that's interesting because he does kind of just he's committed from then on to the idea of like Batman. He's figuring it out.
He's figuring it out, but like
knows what he's gonna do.
We never see that transition, or at least not in a way that to me is meaningful. Right? We see it doesn't happen. We see him have a psychotic breakdown when he's about to kill his parents' murderers, and then and then he does a 180.
Did you see the Robert Pattinson Batman? The Batman?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, it's interesting that you bring that up because they actually focus on that more. The idea of vengeance, and like he literally says in that film, I am vengeance. Right?
That's where it's from. Okay.
Yeah, and he says that, and he goes through this transition of I have to let vengeance go. Whereas it's handled pretty early on, in terms of the story of him becoming Batman. He's not even Batman at that point.
Right.
It's like he has kind of like a dead set on who he's going to be and what kind of vigilante he's going to be. Whereas someone like Pattinson, who's definitely, I could see you enjoying that one actually, because it deals with that struggle and everything, and he's not.
That's the one
really
you said
sure.
was like the darker one.
It's much darker in terms of the aesthetic, in terms of a lot of what they show in violence. This is much more like.
This is pretty mild.
It is pretty mild, especially compared to movies that would follow in its own series.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, that's a good point. But I'm curious regarding the Batman character, because we're making throughout the movie we're watching it, we're making all the jokes about like, oh, look at this fucking billionaire,
right?
He's a piece of shit. Did by the end of it, did you end up liking the character more?
I did find it a little difficult to maintain the position that like, this is just a billionaire dressing up to beat up whatever. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not true to say that Batman just dresses out to beat like poor people. Like that's not what it really is.
At least not this interpretation.
At least not this interpretation.
Because what you're saying, that's out there.
That's out there. That's definitely out there. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, as far as Bruce Wayne goes, like, when he has his whole rich person moment and, he brings these two girls to the hotel and he just starts buying hotels. I mean, yes, they're right. That's usually what rich people do. That's usually what billionaires do, right? They just waste money because they can. But considering what Bruce Wayne wanted to do, it wouldn't be beyond him as a character to be like, let me be a philanthropist. Let me invest some money, right?
Right.
No, he instead is going to take justice into his own hands and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He focuses on the brute aspect of
right.
Like the physical manifestation
right.
of the poverty and the corruption and the crime in Gotham. And that's I think it's appropriate in this film because it is almost apocalyptic by the end.
Whoa, definitely.
Well, they bring up in the film multiple instances where they kind of retcon history a little bit. Where, the League of Shadows was behind Rome falling,
and then London burning,
burning, and everything, and which I think is cool. I like that as a story thing and everything. But they recognize in this film how society's collapsing is just a part of history and part of this kind of cycle, which is kind of unfortunate. But, the whole idea of this movie, and it's kind of reflected in Wayne Manor being burnt down. Is like what he says at the end is like, we're going to rebuild.
That's actually a good point, because I guess as much as I detest this, the Wayne family, at least Thomas Wayne, was the person who, like, we see in the beginning when he's alive. And he's like more or less leading his company anyways. The city looks good. It looks wealthy. It looks well off.
Yeah, it's bright.
And then he dies, and then they show the city again, and it's a complete trash can. And then it culminates with the destruction of the Wayne Manor. That's actually good. I'll give it that. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, props.
10 points to you.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. I actually also didn't. I should have noticed. I kind of did subconsciously of the whole the way the city looks pre-Wayne death, then post. And then it takes Wayne's intervention to get back to that kind of that hopeful feel.
Not in this film.
No, not in this film. Obviously, there are 2 others after it, but the fact that that he's trying to kind of parallel his father's journey,
right,
and what his father wanted to do, because his dad loved the city. His dad loved. They built the train and everything.
Yeah.
They like pretty much built this town, and
we built this city.
I'm Batman and I built this city. I'm only gonna hear Bale's Batman is you doing the voice.
I'm Batman.
Because that's the thing about Bale's Batman. He's been criticized for his voice throughout all the films.
It's pretty
and everything.
weird. His posture is also weird, and his mask is pretty weird. It looked uncanny valley at times. Like, I was like, okay, this could be a little better. It could be a little better.
Yeah, well, now it's the only thing. These movies are ruined now for me.
Good. Good.
I'm just hearing.
May I interest you in Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker? The best Batman movie.
This movie kind of set the groundwork in some ways for Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in some ways. I mean,
admittedly,
I don't know if admittedly, but I feel there are a lot of parallels, because it's the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix is kind of the inverse to this. It's an interesting companion piece if you watched both back to back, because they're both about how these cities are run down, they're falling apart, and they create these figures, pretty much. They create Batman and they create the Joker. Obviously, the Joker's a very specific take, because he exists, and he, in of himself, creates a Batman, at least ideally. But I feel like
in Joaquin Phoenix.
In Joaquin Phoenix's, the origin happens because of the Joker's actions and everything. But this movie, I feel like kind of they probably looked at how these characters were represented in these films and said, okay, let's kind of go in another direction, but let's keep the social elements, because this movie is obviously a very progressive film.
Things are worse than ever down here. What chance does Gotham have when the good people do nothing?
And it's examining the socioeconomic reasons why Gotham.
This movie.
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. Okay.
Actually, well, both films.
Both films are. Yeah.
It's just this one deals more with poverty and crime, whereas the other one deals with mental health, meaning Batman Begins and the Joker.
I think the Joker also deals a lot with poverty, though.
It does.
A lot of the reasons the mental health is such a big issue is because of the lack of financial infrastructure
and resources.
And resources,
right.
Like the Joker's character, like the Joker, loses access to his meds.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Like, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't happen to Batman.
I guess it wouldn't. No, because he's got the resources.
He just loses access to his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you I was laughing a little bit during that scene. Only the parents'
The
death
parent scene. Oh, yes.
Only because
I was there.
I was picturing you laughing. Because you quoted the Joaquin version.
You get what you fucking deserve. Oh, I can't stop doing the Batman voice now.
Lame. In the distance, you could be like,
I mean,
suck it.
I mean, look, right? Because at least in this scene, in this iteration of Batman, we get to see a little bit of Thomas Wayne as a real philanthropist, as someone who actually cares and yada yada. But then, for example, in something like the Joker, we see Thomas Wayne to be a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which is a more accurate description of billionaires for the most part.
It's something that's just as legitimate as the other one, you know?
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, sure.
It's definitely more true to the times.
I can't say
version.
Sure.
Are you one of these guys who? And I'm not judging.
Right,
I probably agree, honestly. But do you subscribe to the whole? There's no such thing as a good billionaire.
Billionaire? No. Because you have to build your wealth on top of the labor of people in a way that's like unjust.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you make $1 billion without violating human rights here and there. And even you get like the guy who created Bill Gates, the Microsoft guy.
Yeah.
He's as good a billionaire as you can get, and I mean he's still not. I don't know. He's still not a good person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, gotta make the money.
Sure.
Yeah. Do we hate money all of a sudden? I mean, do you hate money? What's wrong with money?
What's wrong with money?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is wrong with money.
All right. Tell me.
Batman is what's wrong with money. I'll tell you what's wrong with money.
Why so serious?
At least in the context of Batman. Money is the driving force for the crime, whether like. And I guess this is like a historic motive, right? It's always wealth driving out greed and making people bad or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But also in this specific film, it seems that it's Thomas Wayne's fortune and his sole act as an individual that maintains Gotham at least in a stable place, that maintains the city, at least the shot we get of Gotham being pretty, right? And then he's gone. And then suddenly there's not that merciful billionaire to fix it all or maintain some sort of goodness, and everything falls to crap.
And the issue is that's
and
it's all on him.
Actually brought this up.
Right.
You basically, and this is actually something we saw and we see with for people like Elon Musk, who can threaten to shut down Starlink to change the tide of the war over in Ukraine. We go back to kings and queens, and it's like, well, I don't subscribe to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that is very true. Is that they bring up in the film when I always call him Ra's al Ghul because that's the way to pronounce it, but they call him Ra's in this. Right. When Ra's shows up, and he's talking about how when they came back to Gotham, they tried a different type of tactic to bring it down in economics. And I
which
thought
is
that was
the depression that is referred to throughout the film.
Yeah, so they caused that, and they wanted to see how that would pretty much wreck the city. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really interesting angle of conquering.
I thought so too.
Because it showed that everyone put their hope into Wayne, into Thomas Wayne, which is probably unjust and unfair because other wealthy people were probably putting all their money onto him as well. You know, and because he's the figurehead, he's the one everyone's following, when it should be dispersed and allocated to where it needs to be, rather than just on this one guy who obviously wants to help people because he's a doctor and everything. But yeah, that was really interesting.
Ultimately,
angle.
it's not a system that is sustainable.
Yeah.
As we saw in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they literally have Wayne Tower as the unofficial center of the city.
Of the city.
You know, not only in
And
terms
it's something
of
that Thomas Wayne did. So it's a really cocky way of showing your money. Even if you care about people and even if you're building this infrastructure, you're still centering yourself in the city.
Well, because also the water and the electrical is connected,
It's
like
everything,
the cities.
yeah.
Yeah, it's everything.
But you know, you bring that up, and if we're judging the film by itself, without like, if we abstract the politics for a second, it makes me curious. If the economy was the first attempt of the Dark League, right?
The League of Shadows.
League of Shadows. Yeah. Why? In my understanding, it's the depression and it's the economic stress and that pushes, that allows the power vacuum for all these criminals to bribe and corrupt every aspect of the government, right? As is mentioned in the film.
Yeah.
So why, right? Like, why was that? Why was, if in my like, the way I analyze this is, if the depression is what brought that corruption on, what was happening in Gotham for the League to cause the depression? Does that make sense?
No, yeah. Why would they? You're asking pretty much why would they cause
the depression? That then says, "Oh, look, Gotham is fucked because of the depression that we caused."
No, I think what the implication is that Gotham was already pretty bad, you know, and it was like different people with money, different figures with money, who invested in the city to help kind of, you know, restart it a bit. Like, that's what caused Wayne to create the train, you know, is the fact that everything was so bad beforehand. And then I think the League at some point came in and, you know, said, okay, we're gonna fuck them. This city's already really bad. It doesn't matter if you have a train or anything like that. We're gonna fucking take it down, you know, because I guess because since the world market was growing at the time, you know, it wasn't like how it was during, say, the Roman Empire, right? Like, it's obviously technology advances and everything. They're like, we're going to try economics because the world's changing, yet Gotham still needs to be destroyed. So I think that's probably what... Gotham probably just already said.
Yeah, it was probably already screwed. That's the only logical way of defining. But yeah, it's just something something that caught my attention.
Yeah, that's why they need that's why they made the Gotham show.
You know, as a scientist, you know something that upset me in this film was the whole microwave thing, and I can't it's just. I mean, you can tell that they didn't put an ounce of research into this weapon because. Sure, microwave heats up water molecules. Cool. Yeah. Like, the way it heats up your food is because it heats up the water molecules in your food.
Yeah.
But do you know why the microwave cannot function with the cap open?
Why?
Because that radiation would go out and then it would burn you. It would boil you. Like, it would heat up the water inside you.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so when they turn on that, what they call the microwave, and it's boiling all this water, causing all this vapor pressure, I'm wondering, why isn't anyone around it boiling alive?
Because
people should have been melting.
It discriminates.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well,
it discriminates amongst people.
I would like to know that. I would like to know. That's really, I think, out of the whole movie, you know, That's my biggest nitpick.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's legit. It's legit. Like the first time they also test it or show it being worked on is when it's on a boat at sea.
At sea.
I don't know how it would affect the ocean water around it.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, what if it just created like a cloud of vapor and then the boat just like sunk, or like fallen because there's no water underneath it anymore? I don't know. It was so.
It's because it's not awesome. Batman needs to fight a microwave. The great villain, the microwave.
The microwave. Yeah, I mean, and you know, like you can't really put ionized metals like in the microwave.
I don't know.
Because like
I don't know.
Why don't you put a metal fork in a microwave?
Why are you assuming things?
You put a metal fork in your microwave?
Yeah.
Well, most people don't put metal forks in their microwave because it goes kaboom. Okay?
It goes boom.
So all the metal that was surrounding this microwave should have gone boom.
Hey, listen, man. I think you're just a little too poor to understand how physics works, all right? Batman understands because he's rich.
Because he's rich and he went to Princeton.
Was it? It was
he went to fucking Princeton, bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because you know why?
Why?
Because he's Batman.
Because he's That's
right.
Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, the more we talk about this, the less I'm liking him as a character.
I think it's just that this figure is looking dead into your soul.
It really, yeah.
You talk about my movie.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
Let me get a shot of this. Batman, you scared me.
I am terrified of the leather you're wearing. You should take it. Something else to note about the politics of this film is that, of course, Wayne Enterprises is involved in
weapons manufacturing.
The military-industrial complex. Surprise!
Where's he going to get the suit?
Where is he going to get the suit?
It's not going to be Adam West.
Of course not.
Fucking fabric.
He's not going to do it through humanitarian efforts, I'll tell you that much.
Where's he going to get the suit from? The Red Cross? What do you mean?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He can only do this. He can only be Batman because his wealth allows him to profit from war, which then allows him to solve
his war on crime. There's the war on drugs, and then there's the war on crime.
Look,
Batman fights both, and your ungrateful ass doesn't understand this. All right, you're too busy profiting from these. You're profiting from these battles.
I am Colombian, so yes.
No,
you thought you got me with that one.
Importing. Batman is disrupting my business. Once again, the greatest Batman villain, right in my presence, the Colombian. What would your supervillain name be? The Colombian?
No. My supervillain name.
Anarchy's already taken, just so you know.
I almost want to say Joker, but...
Well, I mean, you are the Joker.
But I'm not deranged. Although that's what someone deranged would say.
As you look at your fingers.
As I look at my fingers.
Am I manicured? Ready to scratch the
I wouldn't
Batman?
have a name.
You wouldn't have a name?
I wouldn't have a name.
So you'd, like anonymous or something?
I would be nameless, yes.
Would you wear the V for Vendetta mask?
No, I would not, because that is lame.
But you're anonymous.
No, I just don't have a name.
So you're anonymous.
No, I just don't have a name. I'm too cool to have a name.
I want to see your.
If I don't have a name, Batman can't track me.
I want to see your.
If I don't have a name, when the police are trying to track me down and Batman is trying to take me down, they're gonna be like, you know, that villain, the one without a name, and those are precious seconds that I'll use to my advantage.
Oh, you mean anonymous? No, he didn't have a name, so he's anonymous.
No, he doesn't have a name. It'll be a whole thing.
It'll be great. Talk about branding. It's gonna be great. Do you know what my supervillain name is? Brian M. Courier.
Would that be your? What would be your?
Come after me,
What would
Batman.
be your? Actually, I want to ask you something.
What's
what would
up?
be your superhero name in a DC universe? Because I'm sure you've thought about this.
Yeah.
So time to spill the beans. What is your superhero
You want
name
me to give away the secret identity?
in a DC universe? Yes.
Give away the secret identity.
Yes.
All right.
And don't say Jesus Christ.
Oh, well, shit. All right. Messiah.
That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
Well, it depends on what you do.
For someone as self-righteous as Batman, Messiah would work pretty well.
Well, I want to see, like, on the Gotham Gazette, their newspaper, like, Batman takes down Messiah. Batman takes down Messiah once again. Messiah locked up.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
There's actually, in a recent comic, a recent Batman book, there was a thing, there were these characters that Tom King created, called, who's a writer. Actually, a really interesting writer, because he used to work for the CIA, and then he wrote fucking Batman comic books.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's really interesting. And he created these characters called Gotham and Lady Gotham, I think. I forget what the chick's name was, but it was pretty much, they were named after Gotham, and they had the whole Superman motif. So I feel like that's just on the line of Messiah. As far as names, to name yourself after, like, a city that you're protecting, right?
Definitely.
You know, Captain America is a different story. You know, he's not calling himself USA Man or anything. Captain America is cool. You know,
if that's the way you want to cope.
Hey, that's
But there's a whole other
hold on a second.
Political problems with Captain America.
You don't talk shit about Captain America, all right?
Okay.
I'm not a right-wing nut job or anything, but you don't fuck with Cap, all right? He's the one. If it's not Batman, it's him.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna ask Brian to send me a video of him defending Captain America.
Captain America.
Listen, Seb, you don't fuck with Cap. If you do, we got a problem.
Yeah. Well, okay, considering what you said about superheroes being named after the city they protect.
Yeah.
What's your take on people whose names are literally like a country or place?
Oh, like
not to name a dear
Asia?
Yes, or like, you know, we have a dear friend who has a cousin who is named after a state.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yes.
No, I still don't know.
Okay, well, it's okay.
Well, you'll tell me later. But what do I think about that?
Yeah. I've always thought, like, those like, I first saw those in, like, Colombian novellas.
Yeah.
I just thought that's kind of strange.
A little strange. What's stranger to me are when they're named after a month. Like April. Or like July. Or is anyone named? Well, Julius comes from July.
Right. Well, no, July comes from Julius.
Oh.
Because it's named after the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar.
That was a test. And you passed. Messiah has blessed you. That's all Messiah does.
Oh my
Gotham
God,
City.
Julius, you thought Julius came from July?
He goes around and asks people trick questions.
Aye.
Continuing public confusion.
I think I'll take Batman over Messiah. At least Batman will know basic history.
Someone called Batman! Actually, in this movie, they don't dumb down Batman, but he's not nearly as much the detective as he is with his comic book his comic book counterpart is knowledgeable of all sorts of history, mythology, science, chemistry.
So.
You know,
I think they kind of allude that with the fact that he went to Princeton because, you know, it's supposed to be an Ivy League.
Yeah.
But they never, they don't really show it.
They
don't really show it. Unless you consider the fact that he spoke fluent Chinese.
No, yeah, he's worldly, but he's not like you know, like for example with did you ever play the Batman games, the Arkham games?
No.
Arkham. Well, in that
I have taste.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's nice for you. But that version of Batman is much more of like a superhuman in ways of like his intelligence, the way he navigates,
like his techiness.
Yeah, his tech aspect. And this they make him more relatable by taking a lot of that away. Otherwise, he's more like a James Bond.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he doesn't need to be. He just needs to be have his people.
He just needs to be.
Batman.
I am Batman. It is me, Batman. Joker. Let's hear some lines of you as Batman. All right. I want to hear some lines of you saying, "I'm Batman." The Joker is getting away. You know, I want to hear it.
Go. I'm Batman. The Joker is getting away.
Say to the Batcave.
To the Batcave. You know, there was one I actually. Alfred. Help me.
Rachel.
It's not about what's underneath. It's about the actions that I do. Bruce.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
It is about what is underneath my pants.
Now it's a team of two.
Sebastian's Batman audition. Now I am Batman. Here I am Bruce Wayne. Now I am Batman.
You gotta. That's actually an okay Batman voice, at least in terms of this movie.
I am Batman.
I am Batman.
That would scare the shit out of me. That would scare me, man. I'm telling you.
Soy el Batman.
Oh no! See, the cops would come in like full force. You know, they had a SWAT team in this film trying to take him down.
Yeah,
dude, you get ice up in here.
You know, Gordon would not have been as understanding.
No, Gordon would have been like.
He would have been the first to shoot.
Oh shit! Okay, homie. Okay, SA. Bat, homie. Comprende. Tell him Batman comprende. Yo, what's up?
Bruce Wayne got racially profiled.
By the way, I loved when we were watching, you kept on bringing up all the illegal shit he was doing.
Bro, like, just what? And this is something that pisses me off. This is, I think, why I don't like superheroes movies as much, is because, like,
yeah,
wanton destruction of public property, and just like, like, it's just like, at what point is. Like, for example, I was watching Invincible recently. Oh my god, amazing show.
But
like,
mean,
and this is something that happens. And this is something that happens actually. Like, something we saw in this movie is like, there's like massive destruction. A whole building gets destroyed. Like when they take down like the bridge, right? And the bridge collapses against the building.
Yeah.
How many people died there?
But not enough.
Well, certainly, certainly not to like make it into the film.
Well,
but
they were poor.
And that makes it okay.
So they don't count.
They don't count.
Did they count on the census, Sebastian?
I'm sorry. How could I not realize?
Those monsters on the street of Gotham City, they are getting what's coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
Wet ass people. I want to see a Batman film where they have
as Batman. Oh.
Well, no, not. I didn't mean to gesture towards you. Wait, let me put both my hands in my pocket. No, a Batman film where they have like a right-wing commentator talking about, you know, all that stuff. Like,
well, it wouldn't be a right-wing commentator. Well, unless they were like, you know, one of those populists. It
depends on who Batman's targeting, because if he's going after the wealthy, right?
Oh, that's fair. Yes.
They could actually get Ben Shapiro.
Oh my gosh.
In the movie.
That would be a disaster. I would pay to watch that.
I'll accept the role of Ben Shapiro in The Batman Part 2. However, the Daily Wire has to be a silent partner. I need a producer's credit. And 50% of the back end.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he would do that.
Yeah.
He would do that.
Yeah. But no, I agree. I mean, there is a big theme within these films, in superhero films, of, you know, the destruction of public property, private property, loss of life. I mean, Invincible is one of the most extreme cases I've seen in a while. Certainly. Invincible and The Boys. I don't know if you've seen that, but you know, that deals a lot more into the more so than something like this, even with Batman, into the whole capitalist angle of it and everything, and how people are essentially cattle in these stories.
You know, something that strikes me as interesting, if I'm remembering, and it's been a while since I actually like looking at your Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah.
I think part of the reason the Avengers get in trouble is because they cost so much destruction, quote unquote, saving the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually kind of cool that Marvel addressed that.
I know, yeah. That's why I'm waiting. I mean, DC tried with the Batman and Superman movie. They tried to address that, but you know,
it just wasn't good.
Yeah,
it just wasn't. Like I hate to say it, but like DC just doesn't make good films.
Well, for now, I think they're on a new course.
How many decades do you have to give them?
Listen, okay, that's
like,
a fair point.
They made Wonder Woman. The first one was excellent. The first Wonder Woman was excellent.
I love these films, these Batman films. I love the Nolan.
Do they count as DC films?
Yes, because they're about Batman.
I guess.
If we're there's talking about a universe, and then there's talking about just DC as a brand, because Joker's a DC film.
Yeah, that I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's of course the exceptions, but like overall, like Shazam was okay.
I like Shazam.
It was amusing. Aquaman was meh.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 2 was
no. The first Wonder Woman. Was
Batman vs Superman was meh. Superman was bleh. I don't know.
Did you see The Flash?
No, and I hear it's meh. So I don't have high. I just don't like. If I'm gonna watch superheroes, chances are it's gonna be Marvel.
Well, here's the thing. They're coming out with a new Superman film, which will set off a new universe, like a new world.
So they're getting rid of like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, that's
done.
done.
You know what they're actually gonna do? You know what they're actually gonna do?
What?
Because they have so many films about Superman, all these different iterations about Superman, and this attempt at the Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, Batman version, right? There's everything like this universe that they were trying to build up.
Yeah.
That's gonna get shoved under a different timeline, and it's actually gonna come up in whatever new universe they're trying to make.
I think that's what they've
exactly
said they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
They've pretty much the James Gunn, the new head of DC, has pretty much said that. He had a video last year.
I mean,
that
it's
he
pretty
released.
obvious.
Yeah, where he unleashed the whole slate of the new. He calls it Chapter 1, which is a collection of different shows and movies that they're going to be doing in DC. James Gunn did. He's the most famous for doing Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, so the second film.
The second film.
So he and Peacemaker and everything.
Suicide Squad 2 was okay.
I really enjoy that film, and he's going to be writing and directing. And they've just started production on Superman, this new Superman. And so it's a new cast and everything, and they're going to get a new Batman and everything, and they're going to start over pretty much. And I have cautious optimism because I love Gunn as a writer and director, and I think he gets it, and I think he's been very honest about what has been going on with DC lately. He's just been like, yeah, it's kind of been sucking lately. so hopefully we can get back to the days of getting something as something that shakes things up just as much as Batman Begins did. Because Batman Begins obviously brought us The Dark Knight, which brought us The Dark Knight Rises. And it was a very important film, you know, and I love the film. I love the ending of the film. I love the action in the film, the music, which we haven't. What did you think of the music of this movie? It's Hans Zimmer who's doing the soundtrack.
That makes sense. I felt like the only time I actually paid attention, like the music actually got to me, was when he was attacking the people at docks. And it's the first time Batman shows up, right? And I just thought it was kind of cool because it was playing like horror music.
Oh yeah.
And it's all from the perspective of the, like, at least in terms of music, it's from the perspective of the
criminals.
Of the criminals.
Yeah.
And it's like it's that same thing like you would hear in Insidious or like any scary movie that it's like the violin. It's just very like sharp and crude. Yeah. And I actually quite like that a bit.
Yeah.
That it was like in the perspective.
Yeah.
Of the criminals.
They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
of that.
like they were living a horror movie. even though it's not a scary scene, they were living a horror movie, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I love the where are you? I am here.
I'm Batman.
Well, I really enjoyed watching the film again. I enjoyed watching it with you.
It was very enjoyable. It was pleasant.
You know, we'll see if we can watch another film, another Batman movie. Get your fill in.
That would be fun.
It's gonna educate you, because this is some serious shit.
I'd like to watch the Joker one.
Oh, see, that's now you're pushing it.
No. As in, like the second one is when he
I
comes
see.
with the Joker
I
and it's like Two-Face, Scarface. I don't think I watched the third one though, because I went and like.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the Dark Knight?
It's not the same one.
The second film of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you. I was so confused because I thought you were talking about Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh no! I'm gonna go watch that. I'm gonna go watch that sequel in film, in the theater.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. The Dark Knight.
No.
I know. But what you were talking about is the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yes.
I don't think I watched the third one though.
Oh well,
because I went to like a thing of like, okay, I'm gonna give Batman movies a shot. And I actually enjoyed the first and second one.
Yeah.
And I don't recall watching the third for whatever reason.
The third is probably the lesser of the three. I still love it, and I love a lot of the themes in it and everything. But it's not
typical.
I don't even know if I would call it typical, but it's very...
No, I was calling you typical.
Oh, I see.
For liking a Batman film.
That's fair. But
supporting a billionaire who dresses in spandex to beat up homeless people.
I am Batman. Batman. We haven't even gotten to Robin yet. But
no, my goodness.
The Dark Knight is just so good that it's hard for any movie, I think, to... follow it. Like The Dark Knight is one of my favorite films of all time, and everything about it is perfect. But so The Dark Knight Rises, lots of fun. It's more akin to Batman Begins in terms of the themes, even the way it's made and everything. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
Okay.
I'll leave it to you.
Okay.
You might like it. They deal with the physics in there.
I hope not in the same way they deal with this fucking microwave here.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
The microwave. Can I put my hot pocket in?
Oh my God.
All right, well, we're going to finish up now.
For sure.
It's been fun, but you need to get the hell out of here.
I do.
To the Batmobile.
To the Batmobile.
Sebastian, thanks so much for helping me out with
It's
this
a
podcast.
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It's a lot of fun.
I wanted to be like make another like quick joke and be arrogant about it.
Oh yeah, go for it.
You're welcome. I know my presence is desirable. No, but it's a pleasure, and thank you for having me. This was a ball.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
It was fun watching it. Fun talking about it.
Yes.
But now it's done.
Now it's done.
So it's time for you to leave.
Okay.
All right.
Batman.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one and goodbye. Yeah. So why don't you stop recording?
Hold.
So it's going to be a little complicated. So we're going to hold it. So light it up and then hold it again and then.